Unfortunately, we are not currently able to offer you an interview for this role.
Thank you for your interview. We regret to inform you that your application is not successful.
However, that we cannot offer you a personal interview at this time.
Oh my god, this is already the 100th rejection email that I received. God, can you please give me an offer? I would trade with anything. I'm sure a lot of people have received many rejection emails before, especially telling you that you have really good technical skills, but you just lack the communication skill. Don't worry, I did too. And this is how I ace every front office job as a non-native English speaker. And you can too. One of the tips is actually more like an utter secret, and it is not related to any skill set, but it is more related to a manipulation magic in your mind. As some of you may already know that I used to do quite a few sort of front office banking job, including working in a commercial bank as well as working as a supervisor at the central bank, and now sort of working in a front office role in wealth management. I have actually experienced quite a lot of front office interviews in which I truly understand that it could be really difficult as a non-native speaker if you are applying for a front office job in the UK or in the US. My first tips is to speak confidently and assertively. Even though your idea is not the best in the room, or you might have an accent when you speak English, it always helps when you speak assertively. Why? This is because when you speak assertively, you gave an impression that you are a strong believer of your own point, and this, in a way, you're trying to convince your idea in a very strong way to make other people believe in you. Hence, it is always a really good technique to be as confident as possible. And I understand that in some situation when you talk to native speakers, you might be worried about what they think, or they might be speaking too fast, so you're not willing to voice out your opinion. It is very important to improve your oral speaking skills if speaking confidently or assertively doesn't come like naturally. So before I did all this interview, I actually tried to hang out with a lot of native speaker friends, copying their accents, hang out with them most of the times really helps to improve my oral speaking skills and listening skills. If you do not really have a chance to hang out with a lot of native English speakers, I would say just watch a lot more English TV shows such as the BBC News or Bloomberg News. Actually helps your listening and your speaking skills too. Or you can even watch Thoughts on the Market. Thoughts on the Market is one of my favorite podcasts played on Spotify by Morgan Stanley. It is mainly because it doesn't only have various accents. You could also learn about various market knowledge in the long term. And I would also recommend you to play it by 1.5 or 2 times speed, because this would really help you to practice your listening and your speaking skills whenever you're doing interviews. One of my most important tips is the manipulation techniques that I mentioned. So the manipulation techniques is something that is implemented on your mind, which is you just have to keep telling yourself that you're the smartest person in the room when you are in a group discussion with a bunch of native speakers. By having this sort of mindset, you will be a lot more confident speaking up, voicing out your opinion, your ideas, and you will not be worried about your ideas might be banned or your ideas might sound a little bit dumb. I think if you're not a big fan of obviously watching news, then some sort of TV dramas, I would recommend The Crown, Bodyguard, or even Home Alone really helps you, your speaking skills and listening skills. I would say all these you could probably watch them on Netflix, and if not, I'm pretty sure you can watch any of them on YouTube. Number 2, it is important to build your personal branding and make use of your USP, which is unique selling point. And as a non-native English speaker, it is always very difficult to compete with native English speaker if you two have the same abilities. Obviously, from an interviewer perspective, they would always pick the native speaker who has the exact same ability. So what you could do here is to demonstrate your unique selling point. For example, let's say in a group interview, if some of the native English speakers, they were speaking out some points very confidently, and in which some of the point does not make sense, even though they have been spoken or described very well, then you as a non-native English speaker can try to be a logical person and point out that these points doesn't really make sense, and what you could add to make it sound a bit more logical and why this is not accurate. Another situation could be you could also demonstrate your excellent organizational skills by being a timekeeper, which I think a lot of people might have forgotten. So whenever I'm in a group interview, I would always try to be the first one to raise my hand to suggest to be a timekeeper, just to make sure that everyone don't only remember to speak, but you also have someone to keep track of the time. It's also very important for you to demonstrate some sort of analytical skills and numerical skills during an interview. I'm sure there will be quite a lot of stereotypes on Asian, they are better in maths, they are better with numbers. You should make the most out of it in this case as a non-native English speaker. You can perhaps talk about some figures, pie charts, focusing on some numbers, some calculation in this interview. So not only focusing on a broader bullet points or broader answer. So other things, demonstrating your leadership skills. I think by demonstrating your unique selling points or emphasizing them, this would really help you to stand out as a non-native English speaker. Number 3, cultural adaptability. You should discuss how you could showcase your cultural adaptability in different situations by emphasizing how being a non-English speaker is not a limitation, but rather an asset in a diverse work environment, through highlighting your cultural background and how you could contribute your international perspective, how people could view this as an asset, and hence contributing to diversity and enriching the team's perspective. Number 4, avoid script approach. You should always avoid answering the questions in a very overly rehearsed or script response. I think a lot of non-native English speakers might have made this sort of mistakes, which they would either try to answer questions in a very memorized script way, or they would try to talk about their points really quickly because they've already memorized everything in their mind. This would come across as to an interviewer that you're very nervous and that you are not fully prepared and you're not really good in communications. So I would say in an interview, just treat it more as a casual chit chat, talking about your experience, but not sort of memorizing a script answer. Number 5, building a meaningful impression. So ultimately, I would say it is not about the interview itself, but it's about how much the interviewer likes you, right? Obviously, I think most of the interviewers would like people who are quite similar to them, but even though you are from a different countries, from a different background, to show that you're very approachable, likable person by perhaps asking about their days and you're very looking forward to join the companies after an interview, just having some casual chit chat with the interviewers, or if you can even find some commonality, you both maybe went to the same university hospitality, or you both also work in Hong Kong in the past, then you can talk about your experiences to make, your interviewer like you a bit more. Ultimately, they are all human beings and they wanted to work with someone who they like the most and get along with. So just make sure you are a likable and approachable person. Number 6, talking about the current trend related to your home country. As a non-native English speaker, most of you would have come from different countries. And for example, myself, I was born and raised in Hong Kong. I speak Cantonese and Mandarin. I could not only talk about how all the skills and my language skills would be benefits in this role, but also my understanding of the market, the economy in Hong Kong, and how does that compare to London. By doing so, you're actually bringing a whole new perspective, like a fresh mindset to the interviewer themselves that other native speakers may not know because they're not familiarized with that particular countries. So you should definitely leverage your USP in this area and talk about the current trends to grab the interviewer's attention. So I hope all these tips are helpful for your interview. I really wish that I would know these earlier, and I think these are really useful for me just to land different jobs offer in different banking roles. So I think if you do like my videos and my advice, do like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will post more in the future. Thank you. Bye.